سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the bestower of mercy. Praise and thanks belong to Allah. Peace and blessings be upon the one who has been sent as a mercy to all of creation. Our leader and our Prophet Muhammad, upon his family, his companions, and those that follow them excellently until the day of judgment. I have some questions to ask you before we begin our discussion today. We are in Surah Al-Mulk, the 67th surah in the Quran. Surah Al-Mulk, 67th surah or chapter in the Quran. We're looking at, inshallah, today, verse number 20. Verse number 20. There are some questions perhaps you might want to consider if you are interested in this ayah. Amongst them are, how can one read this particular verse? And what meanings do they possibly convey? What is the point of Allah saying hada in the ayah, hada, this in English? What's the significance of some of the sentences in the particular verse? How does one understand the word Ar-Rahman in this particular verse? What's the translation of ghurur? Ghurur. What do you learn from the verse? And how does this verse connect to Surah Al-Mulk, the word mulk itself? قال الله سبحانه وتعالى أَمَّنْ هَذَا الَّذِي هُوَ جُنْدٌ لَكُمْ يَنْصُرُكُمْ مِنْ دُونِ الرَّحْمَنِ إِنِ الْكَافِرُونَ إِلَّا فِي غُرُورٍ. You can also read it أَمَنْ هَذَا الَّذِي without the rough translation. What force can help you if the Lord of mercy does not? The disbelievers are truly deluded. We're going to go through all that, inshallah ta'ala. After Allah subhanahu, we've talked about that. First word is in the ayah. Brothers and sisters, if there are any here today, the first word in this ayah, if you will, is a Arabic style that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, since He's the creator of all languages, it is a style that is used to shift from one discussion to another discussion. After Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala discussed and established and re-established that He is the true deity, the only one worthy of worship, subhanahu, and reminding the polytheists that they are in extreme need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah Azza wa Jal shifts the conversation to or from having them consider the creation to now talking about invalidating certain things that they, back in those days, and some people still have today, have. The first thing that He does is that He, Allah Ta'ala, invalidates people that think that it is not possible for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send down a punishment. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked them a question. Not a question for understanding, but a question of, what are you people thinking about? And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking and seeking from these people, show me this concept of the impossibility of a punishment coming. Show me the possibility of things being able to thwart or stop any particular punishment if something were to come. Are you able in any way, shape, or form to show me anything. This particular ayah is connected to ayah number 16. This ayah is specifically connected to ayah number 16. Back then it said, أَأَمِنْتُمْ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاءِ. So do you think that you feel safe from the one who is in the sky? Jazakallahu khairan. Abu Adam, let me ask you a question. If I were to ask you and I said to you, Abu Adam, who is this that can explain to me about Islam? I'm a non-Muslim, for example, and I come to IIOC and I see you and I ask you, excuse me, sir, who is this person that can sit down with me and talk to me about Islam? Do you have somebody in mind? Somebody here can do that? Yes or no? If I ask you right now, anybody in here that can help me about Islam? Teach me about Islam? I don't know Islam. Let's say Dhuhr, Asr, Maghrib, whatever. Anybody here? You have a program or something? What's the person's name that can help me? Not me, Jamal. I asked brother, for example, Samir. I say, Brother Samir, is there somebody in here that can talk to me about giving donations? Yes or no? Right away, you have somebody in your mind? I ask you a question. You in medicine, right? Something like that, right? I say to you, listen, brother, I need to talk to a specialist on something. And you have the name of the person in mind. I got an issue with my arm, my knee or something. Physical therapist. And you know a physical therapist. I say, look, could you point me to a physical therapist? Someone comes to your mind? Most likely, yeah. I asked this question because this is exactly how Allah Ta'ala asked the mushrikun. When he said, Amman hada. Who is this? Who is this that you're talking about that can help me, that can help you with respect to me, Ar-Rahman? Who is it? When you are asked, a speaker asks you this particular question, Man hada, you say, such and such. Right? It's in your mind. You have an idea. So Allah Ta'ala is asking the mushrikun, same question. Wait. So who is this helper? Who is it? Who are you talking about? I want to know. Now, one or two things are going to happen. One or two things are going to happen as far as the answer. Do you know what the answer might be? Do you think the mushrikun actually had an answer? Yes or no? You said no? Someone said, yeah. Who said yes? It's okay. You said yes. Tayyib. Who would it be? Tayyib. Some of the mushrikun could have said maybe their qabila, their tribe. Some of them said it could have been their asnam, the idols. Naam. Maybe Lat or Uzza. That's one possible answer. Is there another possible answer? Somebody said no. That's the other answer. There is no answer. So the one or two possible answers then that Allah asks here. Okay, you people, you talk about this idea about an ilah. Okay, so who is it then? I want to know who. What comes to your mind when I ask you this question? One or two possible answers. Either nothing, because they know that it's impossible. Or if they're really, really steeped in their arrogance and their stubbornness, they'll tell you something. النتيجة واحدة. Same result. Nothing. So Allah Ta'ala here in this part, أَمَّنْ هَذَا. Who is this? Who are you talking about? الَّذِي جُنْدٌ لَكُمْ, which is your army. Jund is a military force. A military force. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the noun sentence, or jumla ismiya in Arabic, the noun sentence to show that, okay, apparently you already have an army or military force already ready to go. So where are they? Where are they? Who are they? They must be prepared because the military force is already prepared. Isn't that right? We got an army and navy, air force, marines, coast guard, whatever. They already prepared, aren't they? They ready to go. Do it. Where we go? Over there. We blow you up. We see you later. Right? That's now 2020. Way back then, same thing. Okay, where's this military force that you have? Where? They must be ready to go. Where are they? Where are they at? Where are they? See how Allah's asking the question to these mushrikun. Like He's challenging them. At the same time, not only is He challenging them, He's saying, your army is nothing. What is this? That's similar to you as a human being looking at a piece of dirt and saying, that piece of dirt, no one in the world can take me on. You understand? That's the idea. That's the idea here. So Allah's asking that question. So, okay. Yansurukum. Yansurukum. That will help you. That will consistently help you. It's a verbal sentence now. Went from a noun sentence to a verbal sentence, or jumla fi'aliyah, as they say in Arabic. So you must have somewhere some sort of army already ready to go, and they are constantly ready to help you and assist you. So where are they? Where can they be? Then Allah Ta'ala says, Min dunir Rahman. Min dun ar-Rahman. Other than ar-Rahman. Last week we talked about the fact that the mushrikun, when the Prophet alayhi as-salatu was-salam was doing his ministry, they hated, many or some of them disdained or did not like Allah being named Ar-Rahman for various reasons. So the question is here, why would Allah Ta'ala use Ar-Rahman here? What's the point of saying Ar-Rahman? Why didn't He say Min Duni Al-Aziz, other than the most powerful? Why didn't He say Min Dun Al-Qawi or Jabbar? Those names that show power. Why did He use the name that shows Rahmah? He's asking them a question about military and who can assist you. And then He's talking about Ar-Rahman, using that name. Why? What's the point of that? Why did He say that? Why you say that, Sam? Why you say that? MashaAllah. Tayyib. Okay. Sam said to give them hope. Maybe they'll return to Allah. Anybody else? Jazakallah khairan. Anybody else? I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm just listening. Anybody else? You've all read this surah, have you not? You've heard this surah, have you not? Let's ask the question. Maybe you didn't ask the questions. We're going to ask them now. It's called the Darasat al-Qur'aniyah. That's what we're supposed to be doing. It's the Sunnah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? You pray a prayer, you come together, and you do a mudarasa. This is part of mudarasa. Sah? Right. So what's the point of Ar-Rahman here? I only got one answer. I see 20 people. 1 out of 20. That's not a good percentage. How about Adam? What do you think? Aywa? Rahma is above everything. Way in the back there. Ah, I know you got an answer. Bismillah. Mm, 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 mm. طيب طيب MashaAllah. Jazakallah khair. I'm not saying he's right nor is he wrong. Huh? Jazakallah khair. Jazakallah khair. Somebody else. Yes. Well, as far as Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, there's a big discussion about that, but okay. Nevertheless, okay, Ar-Rahman from Allah Ta'ala, because He is Ar-Rahman, covers everything, or encompasses both Muslim and non-Muslim. Okay. Tayyib, anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Anybody else? Anybody else? Going? Going? Tayyib. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, first of all, it is from the rahmah of Allah Azza wa Jal whenever an adhab does come from Allah, that's rahmah. And if Allah Ta'ala does not allow an adhab to occur, that's rahmah. Also, we find from this something else, which is to say that in spite of the fact that you do kufr, that you reject me, in spite of the fact that you lie upon me, in spite of the fact that you say these things and make all these pieces of creation equal to me or claim to be equal to me, I still have mercy upon you. I still have what? Mercy upon you. That's for the non-Muslim. A little lesson to be learned for our brothers and sisters out here who constantly think that Allah Ta'ala don't love them. You need to wake up. Now, I know brothers like to talk gently and everything. I don't have time. I'm getting older. I do have time, but my point being is that, look, stop saying Allah don't love you. You don't read the Quran, because if you did, you would understand this, inshallah, that if Allah has mercy upon those people that lie to Him every single day, what makes you think that you're not part of this rahmah? What makes you think that? Other than your ignorance. A'udhu billah min al-jahl. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, أَمْ لَهُمْ آلِهَةٌ تَمْنَعُهُمْ مِنْ دُونِنَا لَا يَسْتَطِيعُونَ النَّصْرَ أَنفُسِهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ مِنَّا يُسْحَبُونَ. In Surah Al-Anbiya, the 21st Surah, verse number 43. It is said there, it says, do they have gods who can defend them against us? Their gods have no power to help themselves, nor can they be protected from us. Another way of looking at this particular part of the ayah, min dunir rahman, okay? In general, this part of the ayah, أَمَّنْ هَذَا الَّذِي هُوَ جُنْدٌ لَكُمْ يَنْصُرُكُم مِّن دُونِ الرَّحْمَنِ. Stop here for a minute. The general meaning is, Muhammad, I command you, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Muhammad, I command you to talk to and address the mushrikun, polytheists. After we have established the fact that you are heedless, unaware of the creation around you, we talked about the earth, we talked about the bird, we talked about the sky, we talked about you. Now that we've established the fact that you are unaware and that you don't consider and think about even the bird above you, please inform us. As I speak on behalf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Inform us. What is this thing or things, this insignificant thing that you say or that you seek help in? This ayah is a reflection of Iyaka na'bud, specifically what Iyaka nasta'in. This ayah is connected to what Iyaka nasta'in, particularly. So what do you have that you call yourself seeking assistance with that could benefit you and remove harms from you? That goes beyond the will of Ar-Rahman. That goes beyond the help of Ar-Rahman. Who can assist you from Allah's punishment? You don't have anything. You know that too, deep down inside. And as a result of that, Allah Ta'ala says afterwards, إِنَ الْكَافِرُونَ إِلَّا فِي غُرُورٍ. إِنَ الْكَافِرُونَ إِلَّا فِي غُرُورٍ. Let us go through this as a quick Arabic lesson. Brothers and some sisters, if you're listening, I did a research of this word as far as the translations. There are 3 translations for the word ghurur. Ghurur. If you did a transliteration. The other way you can pronounce it is gharur. بفتح الغين. Talk about that shortly, inshallah. Ghurur has been translated to be 3 possible words. Illusion, illusion, or deception, or delusion. 3 possible translations I came across. Illusion, deception, and delusion. Okay? طيب. Look up the dictionary. I use Merriam-Webster's dictionary. Illusion, with an I, refers to a misleading image presented to the vision, or something that deceives or misleads intellectually, or a perception of something objectively existing in such a way as to cause misinterpretation of its actual nature. That's illusion. Deception has been defined as the act of causing someone to accept something as true, what is actually false, or valid, but actually is invalid. Or deception can also mean the act of deceiving. Okay? Then we have delusion. So we got illusion, and we got deception, and we got delusion. Most translators use the word delusion. Most translators use the word delusion. Okay? Acceptable translations I'm talking about. طيب, what's it say there? Well, interestingly enough, the words illusion and deception are only in the dictionary, but delusion you can find in the dictionary and also in psychological dictionaries as well as psychiatric dictionaries as well. Interesting. So I found 3 interesting definitions. I'll just read one for the sake of time. Dr. Adrian Fernham from Psychology Today, he said, a delusion is a fixed, relatively immutable, persistent, false belief with no basis in reality. A delusion is a belief held by an individual, a group, that is false, impossible, fanciful, just coming in from your mind, basically. And then he talks about the fact that there are 5 types of delusions. The one that's most applicable is the following. Grandiose. You ever heard that word grandiose? Grandiose of deception. It means these are sometimes called delusions of grandeur and manifest when a person believes with no evidence that they are special. They have amazing abilities or have made a important discovery. So I started thinking more about this word. I said, subhanAllah. If in fact the closest translation for ghurur is delusion, then that means that al-kufr is a real bad thing, man, in many, many ways. طيب. Now that you have the English, let me tell you what the Arabic has to say. The Arabic, you have the following words. Al-gharru, al-ghurur, al-gharur, and taghrir. Okay, 4 words. Anyway, it comes from ghirra, which means ghafla. It comes from the word ghirra, which means to be unaware, heedless. The Prophet alayhi as-salatu was-salam said in the hadith, al-mu'min ghirrun kareem. The believer is naively noble. The believer is naively noble. In other words, what that means is that whenever somebody of evil does something good for a believer, the believer thinks that person is good, but in reality, the person really isn't good. You understand that? Let me say it again. The hadith means what? That when a person who is evil does something good, the believer thinks, oh, that person's good. But in reality, the person is what? Evil. Al-mu'min ghirrun kareemun. There's some discussion about the sahih of the hadith, but it's in Tirmidhi. All right. Anyway, in Arabic, the word ghurur with a dhamma, G-H-U, not G-H-A, right, refers to the following. It is the apparentness of something that actually is harmful, but it looks beneficial and beloved and desirable. Once again, the apparentness of something that really is actually harmful, but it has the presentation of something that is beloved, desired, and beneficial. It can also mean an invalid desire and yearning for something. Right? Al-itma' al-batil in Arabic, as they say. It can also mean the belief that something is beneficial based upon what you see. But after tajriba, after using it, practicing it, experimenting with it, actually it's harmful. Ready? That's ghurur. If you spell it G-H-A, gharur, that's shaitan. That's the one that makes things seem nice, beneficial, mahbub, beloved, etc. But no. Allah Ta'ala uses both of these words in the Quran. Here, Allah is talking about the kafirun, saying that they are in fi ghurur. They are in this ghurur. Y'all know what fi is, right? In. I'm in the masjid. Nahnu fil masjid. Surrounded by something, right? So Allah Ta'ala is giving this image that what? That the kuffar, the mushrikun. Yes, a mushrik is a kafir. Right? And vice versa. What? That these people, not just the people that Muhammad is talking to, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but in general, when they think like this, these people they are in and surrounded by delusion. They are surrounded with this idea that what they believe is beneficial, but is actually very, very harmful to them, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, etc. So then what we can learn then from this particular part of the ayah is this: the danger of kufr, the danger of and the seriousness of disbelief. Everybody here is like, I'm a believer, I'm good. No, let me tell you something. You know, one of our problems is, brothers, one of our problems, we have many. One of our problems is that every time, some of us, when we read the Quran and we say, you know, Allah talks about the disbeliever and the polytheist and this, that, and the third, we think it's talking about them, but not necessarily about you. Allah is talking to you right now, which is to say that we need to continuously ask Allah for what? Al-Hidayah, with thabat, guidance, and being firm on the religion, on the faith. We also see from this as well that, you see, when a person, a believer, has decided that they no longer want to be with Allah Azza wa Jal, and they start turning away from Allah Azza wa Jal, and they start wanting, bringing in all this afkar kufriyah, these disbelieving thoughts, if you will, their minds become unstable. Their thoughts become unstable. Their looking at the world becomes unstable. Their concept of what reality is unstable. For those of us that study psychology, this is online, it's online. If you listen to this, if you study in psychology or psychiatry, whatever the case may be, I honestly really encourage you to think about two things. Number one, be very mindful about just blindly accepting the Western understanding of psychology. That's number one. And number two, to really ponder and think about, how does belief, because psychology, Western psychology, separates belief. Ain't no such thing as belief, at least religiously. But I'm curious to wonder, for those who dive in deeply into Islamic psychology, that's the phrase. I'm curious to wonder, has research been written to talk about what? About the infection of disbelief, mentally and behaviorally. Especially, and this is very important, Allah says al-kafirun, al-khalisun, the people who are aslan kuffar. He's not talking about the munafiqun, which is another type of kuffar. Think about that for a minute. That's if to say, then we think about this. If this is the case for the kuffar, for those who disbelieve, what about those that used to be believers? Wal-'iyadhu billah. They're in a worse shape. But nifaq, then we learn from this as well, is a dangerous thing, even worse than kufr. So then we learn then a few things. Amongst them is the seriousness of disbelief. We also learn as well, my beloved brothers and sisters, the importance of tawakkul Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This ayah teaches us tawakkul Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In what way? In what way? I'm drinking my tea now. In what way? I got this part over here. I got Northern Anaheim, Southern Anaheim. Brothers? What you think? How is this? Everything comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nice. What else? Beautiful. What else? I said this ayah teaches us at-tawakkul. Trust and reliance on Allah. In what way? That's my question. In what way? In what way? In every possible way. In what way specifically? What's Allah talking about here? In all aspects, what's Allah specifically talking about here? An-nasr, help. Allah's talking about help here in this ayah. He's asking, who's going to help you other than Ar-Rahman? The ayah teaches us then that we should be asking who for whose help? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, man, we know that already, brother. What is that, man? Come on, man. That's it. If we knew that, then why do some of us beg these politicians to help us then? Let me ask that question. If we know that so much, then why do we beg other people to help our situation instead of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Why is that? Huh? Please don't tell me you understand then. Naam? A sabr. Or means, huh? I wish it were. I wish it were. Inni la ashukku fi dhalik. I have a lot of doubt about that. I really do. And let me tell you why too. Because if in fact we were to, for example, trust and rely on these people, there'll be no way in the world we would sacrifice our values for that. This goes to show a lack of tawakkul. Let me say it another way. Some of us out here that think that so-and-so or some people or whatever can help us in our quote-unquote situation. At the same time, we are willing implicitly or explicitly to put aside our values for the purpose of quote-unquote being helped. هذا عدم التوكل. That is a lack of tawakkul ala Allah Azza wa Jal. That's just my opinion. You don't have to accept it. طيب. No, I don't buy that. I think we need to maybe reevaluate that. You understand? That's for anything. So let me make this plea then to my African American brothers and sisters in faith. This is online. Someone who looks like you is encouraging you to return to and ask your Lord first and foremost to help you. I know some of you don't believe that, but some of you do. And those of you that do, I encourage you to put your trust in Him, the Lord of the heavens and the earth. This ayah or this verse teaches us as well patience as well. Patience. Speaking of tawakkul, of being patient. It teaches us as well the necessity to have hope in Ar-Rahman. Because what He does, all of it is what? Rahmah. Let me give you a story, then I'm going to stop. To show you the idea, speaking of my people. You ever heard of Ibrahim Abdul Rahman? Prince Al-Amir Ibrahim Abdul Rahman? Probably not. You may have seen a movie one time called Prince of Slaves. I don't know if you ever heard this movie before. Probably not. No worries. Let me tell you about this story. During the 1700s, toward the end of the 1700s, as you know, this country, the belly of the beast, United States of America, on the eastern part of the United States of America, right, before California and everything was part of America, you had the 13 colonies, right? Okay, y'all know that. And you also know that, you had George Washington and John Quincy Adams and all these people, and they were slave owners. They had slaves, okay? We know that too. These people wrote the Constitution, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the idea of slavery occurred 1700s, 1800s, particularly in the South, in the southern eastern part of the United States of America. Texas East. Okay. As we all know, the slaves that came, they were from Africa. We know that too. Mostly Western Africa. Some say from Angola specifically, most of them. But anyway, whatever the case may be. A lot of them, many of them were in South America, the Caribbean, and then North America. In North America, in the southern eastern part of America, one day in the 1800s, and some of these African slaves, they were from Muslim tribes. Some were Hufad of the Quran, Some came from powerful tribes, ulama. Some were, if you want to call it, black Arab. They spoke Arabic, mashallah. Anyway, there was a man named Ibrahim Abdul Rahman rahimahullah. And he was a prince. He was an African prince of a Muslim tribe in West Africa. But he was captured as a slave. The last half of his life, 30 plus years of his life, he was a slave here in the United States of America. A doctor, a white doctor, recognized him. Recognized him. And made an effort to have him be freed. So he got freed eventually. And the people that that helped him wanted him to start giving da'wah. The organization that helped in his freedom was a Christian organization. Now you should know that many that were Muslim that came over here, they were forced into accepting Christianity. Some refused and some accepted by force. Anyway, so they said, okay, we're going to dress you up in nice silk robe, in a nice fancy robe, and put a fez. You know what a fez is? Like a kufi, that big red hat. We're going to put that on your head, and you're going to give da'wah. You're going to give da'wah. He said, okay, fine. So he started going to the churches. He went to the churches by himself. You know what he started doing? He started saying that Christianity is batil. Christianity is invalid. And Islam is the truth. Why are you Christian? He started doing this, and they started to get upset with him. Then they said, you got to go. So then he started giving da'wah out in the streets. Started calling people to Islam by himself. Challenging the Christian leaders and everything until eventually he left and went back to his country, rahimahullah. What's the point of the story? The point of the story is that he understood that Ar-Rahman yansuruhu. He understood that the most merciful will help him. By himself. No fear, no nothing. Which leads to the next point. That a true believer, understands that in the face of adversity, no matter what, they know that Allah is with them. That's the real. That is what Iman is about. Iman is not simply saying, "An tu'minu billah wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa shukran." Thank you. No. Real Iman is understanding that no matter what, Ar-Rahman is with me, He's going to help me. Even if I am not the best of the believers. That is Iman. Allahu a'lam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار ربنا اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وإسرافنا في أمرنا وثبت قدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا رزقا حلالا طيبا عملا متقبلا اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من علم لا ينفع ومن قلب لا يخشع ومن نفس لا تشبع ومن دعوة لا يستجاب له اللهم إنا نسألك جنات الفردوس نزلا خالدين فيها اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من النار اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من النفاق والشقاق ومن سيء الأخلاق اللهم آمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر جزاكم الله خيرا السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تفضل Excuse me? Yes. طيب. Jazakallahu khairan. How is it that the adhab or punishment of Allah is a mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How is that the case? We say, Barakallahu feek, may Allah bless you. that when the adab like this wabah that we're going through right now, this virus, thank you, that we're going through, uh, etc. It is indeed a mercy for the one that understands that, number one, everything is in the hands of Allah Azza wa Jal. تبارك الذي بيده إيش الملك. Right? He understands this. Or she understands that punishment is from the mulk, or the dominion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number one. And then he understands, or she understands that Allah ta'ala in his mercy in allowing this to occur, it is an opportunity for each and every person to do what? To reflect upon his or her actions individually as well as collectively. That is a mercy, to reflect upon these negative, or at least in front of us, it seems, these negative events that actually behind it may have a lot of positive. For the one that actually thinks about it like that, which means that you have husnul dhan billah, which means you have good thoughts about Allah Azza wa Jal. Some people don't, ya Samir. Wal-iyadu billah. Muslim and non. So, yes, the adab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, although it may seem like it, it is a mercy in the sense that it teaches us to reflect upon the fact that everything is with Him. It gives us an opportunity to return to Him by tawbah and istighfar. It gives us an opportunity to refresh our iman. It gives us an opportunity to think about what we have done and figure out what we can do to try to change that, to perhaps lift it. We don't need everybody to do this. We need good people, salihun, salihat. We need good righteous men and women who are doing this to raise their hands up and say, Ya Allah, irfa anna hadil waba. We need people to raise their hands up who have done all this and said, in the nighttime, كانوا قليلا من الليل ما يهجعون. They're up in the nighttime, praying, and وبالأسحارهم يستغفرون, in the last 6 of the night, 2 hours before Fajr, an hour before Fajr. Allah forgive us, forgive me, forgive. Yani, where are these people? Inshallah that they exist. Right? They understand, but we need more. Maybe you'll be it. Maybe Abu Adam. Maybe you. Who knows? Allah alam. Inshallah. All of that is a rahmah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wallahi it is. لكن نحن مستعجلون. We're in a hurry. We're in a hurry. Hope that helps you, inshallah. Barakallahu feek. So hey, it's a wake up call. It's a wake up call.